So recently there was a discussion that I came across about how just because we can have the AIs produce a lot of content very quickly, and I've shown you how we can do a 30K book in 90 minutes just by having the AI prompt it, that we shouldn't. And if you're in the category of people who think that we shouldn't be doing this video is not going to be for you. I'll tell you that straight up. We are not going to be talking about why we shouldn't do that, because I don't feel like there should be anything that is off limits with your own writing. If you want to approach writing this way, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to show you and talk about what we can learn by doing that process. Now, I don't want you to think that the book that you generate in 90 minutes is going to be ready for Amazon or for sending off to a publisher or for even sending off to your beta readers. Because it's not. It still needs to be polished. It still needs to have those, we're in this together at every single end of the chapter taken out. Those are basic AI-isms that I don't want left in your book, if you can help it. Some of them, yes. Most of them, though. I mean, I'm writing a book right now with Claude, and every single chapter, it feels like it's ending with, we were together and that's all we needed, and that was the best for now. And I'm like, this is getting really old and really repetitive, and I've cut every single one of them. So keep that in mind. You're going to end up with a lot of AI-isms. But what can we actually learn from this? So if you're brand new to writing a book, if you are like, hey, I've always wanted to write it, but I don't really know where to begin, doing something like this can help you jumpstart that process in your brain, where you're like, okay, this is how we outline, this is how we build the characters, this is how we get that title, this is how we talk about sequels, this is how we make a beginning, a middle, and an end. So those kind of things, absolutely, writing a lot in a short amount of time and just having the AI go boom, boom, boom will give you that kind of sequence so that you can get used to that structure. But say you've been writing for a while, and say you know what you like, say you know kind of where you are, but maybe you want to play with a new genre. I do this all the time with a new genre, where I'm just like, okay, I don't really know sports romances, so let's generate a couple so that I can kind of see what they're like. And yes, you can go through and you can get a bunch of books on Amazon too, but at the same time, there's something very fun about being like, hey, I want to see this and this. Can you write me a book about that? And then instead of going through and maybe you fall in love with a series that's never continued, which is one of my absolute pet peeves. I hate running into that. But say you're just like, hey, I really like these characters, and then halfway through the book, the author does something where you're like, absolutely not, I cannot continue this. I've wasted so much time. You're not going to get that with the AI. So if you want to try out a new genre, and you want to kind of pull it apart and take a look at it and have something there where you're like, hey, why did this happen? Why did we do this? How can we make this stronger? Go for it. We can absolutely do that. And it's going to be about an hour and a half of your time as you sit there and you say, hey, what is this chapter? What is this intro? What are these characters doing? And you can ask the AI, why did we do this? And the AI will give you reasons. Like, say you're writing a serial killer book, and you're like, hey, this feels really easy. Give me some ideas to make it better. Then you can do that with the AI. That's kind of the goal of that 30K in 90 minutes process that I like to do. The other part of it is it can get you looking at those big AI-isms where you're just sitting down and you create the book. And then you just sit there and you start reading it. And you're like, okay, this has come up, this has come up. Where when you're generating it, maybe you don't notice it. Maybe when you're writing with the AI and you do a chapter and it does a chapter, or you do a paragraph and it does a paragraph, maybe you don't notice those things as much. But as you're sitting there reading it as a reader would, then you're going to come across it and it's going to start sticking in your brain. at that point, you're going to start to notice it a lot more. So those are the things I really want you looking at when you do a 30K in 90 minutes. I don't want you to expect to have something ready for Amazon at the end of the 90 minutes. Maybe at the end of 5 hours after you've edited it, but not at the end of 90 minutes. I also want you to look at kind of the beta reading feedback that you can get from that book, any kind of edits that you can get from that book, looking at blurbs, looking at taglines, marketing, stuff like that. Because the nice thing about that 30K in 90 minutes process is that you're not going to be attached to this book at all. You are, in that you spent some money on it and you spent 90 minutes on it, but it's not something that you fell in love with the characters. You didn't dream about them. You didn't go for your morning walk and were like, hey, I wonder what we're going to do today. I am stuck on this part. I need to spend some time figuring out how to get through this one chapter. I don't know where we're going from here. You didn't spend months doing that. You spent 90 minutes. So if you decide that this book is absolute crap, but it helped you figure out how to do endings, it helped you figure out pacing, or it helped you see how a book could be in a new genre, then that's the goal of it. There you go. You learned something and you got something of value out of it. If you don't want to do the 30K in 90 minutes kind of thing, absolutely fine. If you don't want the AI to write your whole book for you, that's absolutely fine. You do whatever you want to do. But I wanted to spend a couple minutes just talking about what we can see in the benefits of doing something like that. Because it's not, okay, we generated this book and now it's going to be perfect and we're going to throw it out there and it's everything that we've ever wanted in a book. No, it doesn't work like that. We still have to edit it. We still have to go through it. It's still going to have issues. But you're going to see structure. You're going to see pacing. You're going to see characterizations. Maybe you look at it and you're like, wow, this is a really weak character. We could have done so much better. Great. Now you know how to prompt it to do better. You can go, hey, that character, I felt like they had very shallow motivations. They were a very one-dimensional character. What could we have done to make it better? At that point, you're not attached to this book. You've spent some time on it, you spent some money on it, but it's not something that you are overly attached to. You're not worried about it. You're not going to be upset if you're like, hey, I hate everything that happened in this book. We're done. So what? You delete the book. You go on to the next one. You're happier with the next one. I delete books I create all the time because I'm like, you know what? I had fun generating this, but it's not something I want to do. Or I give them to friends where I'm like, hey, you know what? This book seems more like you. I had fun making it, but I don't want to put in the time to edit it. You can have it. Go for it. I don't care. I spent $1.20 on it in 90 minutes, and I had fun. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today. Thank you so much for being here. And, I hope that you've enjoyed doing those little exercises where you just have the book prompted and you just go boom, 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 boom. And, if you don't enjoy it, that's okay. Find a way to make AI work for your process that you do enjoy. Maybe you just like it for outlines. Maybe you just like it for research. Maybe you just like it for, hey, I need character ideas. Give me 40 character ideas that are from, I don't know, Cambodia or something. Those kind of things AI is great at. Or if you're like, hey, I need a day in the life of this character who lived in 1692 on this continent in this town, and I need to know what she would have done in her life. AI is fantastic. So use the AI for what you want and leverage it to the best of its abilities and the best of your abilities. And keep playing with it. Keep expanding what you know and what you're good at, and just have fun with it. That's the biggest thing. Writing should be fun. We shouldn't be here stressing and worried and, I don't come to write because I enjoy being stressed out and anxious. I get enough of that in my daily life, so I'm not doing it when I write. When I write, I'm just here to relax and enjoy and create words and create characters and see what happens. And so I hope you have fun today. I hope you have a great week. Enjoy yourself. And yeah, let me know what you're working on. I'm currently doing, there's the cozy mystery, there's the sports romance that I'm doing, I've got a shifter thing, I've got a cowboy thing, and then I've got some spicy spice going on. So yeah, it's a little busy, but it's good. And if you're wondering, I know we talked about a little bit, my dog had a cone of shame. We got the results back, and they're as good as we could have hoped for, but we're still not great. So she's not out of the woods. She's not going to be out of the woods, but we're going to make the time that she has with us absolutely fantastic. So I'll talk to y'all soon. Have a great week, and have fun writing.